WVZM Visible Radio. What's up, everyone? I am your host, B.Will. We have an amazing show for you today. We've got an interview with Devin, Westbrook. Yeah! We have some awesome music from the Visual Music College students to be played today. So stay tuned, y'all.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to 100.3 WVZM Visible. I am your host, B.Will, and I have a great show for you today. Oh my gosh, do I have a treat for y'all. We've got an amazing individual here with us. Some of you know him as Vino. Others know him as Devin Westbrook Jr. What's up, Devin?
What's going on, man?
Man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I can't complain.
That's always your response. Every single time I ask you. Thank you for joining us today, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
There's so much I want to get into. So let's just jump in.
Okay.
You know, I want to first off just ask you, who is Devin Westbrook?
Who is Devin Westbrook?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Above all, Devin Westbrook is a man of God, a man of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I just changed the description in my Instagram just yesterday.
Wow.
I put in my description right under my name on my social media page. Music is my passion, but Jesus is my portion.
Wow. That is amazing, man.
And I think that sums that up quite a bit. You know what I mean? I think I could just stick a pin there, and that could answer at least 95% of who Devin is.
I believe so, man. That is an amazing response. So tell me this. What was your early life like? You know, growing up, what was the household like? Yeah, tell me about that.
Early life was, so my father was military. He joined the military when I was about 3 years old, and so we moved. He got stationed in Killeen, Texas, Fort Hood, and we moved from Memphis to Killeen, Texas, and stayed there for about 2.5, 3 years. And those early years were probably those primitive years were probably my most foundational, because as a Memphian, it probably had the most influence on me as a young person, because my initial interaction with other children and other individuals outside of my family were people from all over the world, because I was on an army base, and everybody that went to school with me had parents who were in the military. And so you could look in my yearbook pictures, and all of my classmates, my yearbook picture looks like a rainbow. So my parents moving forward were extremely intentional about making sure that I was exposed and introduced to as much culture as possible, as they knew to introduce me to. Mm-hmm. So, and being that I come from not just Memphis, which is a highly creative city, an artistic city, home of the blues and rock and roll and soul, that alone, but coming from an artistic family like mine, I come from musicians, I come from poets, I come from people in media, I come from just creatives, and so that was what I was brought up around, and I was exposed to that type of stuff. My father was extremely intentional about making sure I saw and heard and felt what that stuff was like. My parents divorced a little while after about maybe 10 years of marriage, and he got remarried. Both of them got remarried, but my father and my stepmother, before they got married, they started a creative arts summer camp. It's called CASASE, which is an acronym for Keeping the Arts Sacred, Allowing Creative Excellence.
Oh, all right.
And so a lot of people oftentimes kind of see where I've gotten to and see where I am now, who don't know me from back then, and ask, how did you get to where you are? How is it that you're on stage and you're always so confident and so poised and so comfortable? I've been doing this my whole life, you know. So that's where I used to spend every one of my summers.
Okay.
That's my childhood was engulfed in the arts and sports and, you know, black culture.
Wow, man. Okay. So we know you're heavily involved in music, but would you say that that's kind of like a side thing, or do you want to like make this into a full-fledged career?
This is my passion and this is my dream. This is, when I wake up in the morning, I wake up excited to do something in the lane of music. This is the only thing that I'm willing to lose sleep for.
Mm.
And I don't lose sleep for nothing.
Mm.
This is the only thing that I'm willing to pass meals for. It's the only thing that I'm willing to sacrifice friendships and fun for, because this is fun for me. I would rather do this than anything else. So it's more than a side thing. It's not a side thing. It is my thing.
Wow, man. That is... When you said sacrifice meals, then you said friends. Oh, my gosh. That's so relatable.
Yeah.
And a lot of people need to hear that as well, because sometimes they hold people around thinking, oh, I need them, but they're really holding them back, you know, and holding them from their success.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man, that's awesome. So me being the fourth generation of my name, I say that I kind of lived in my father's shadow, because he was a pastor, and he had a position in the church, and he did all these different things. So you being a junior to your father, would you say that you lived in your father's shadow at some point? And
absolutely.
Have you come out of that, or?
I'm so glad you asked that question.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought anybody would ask me that question, especially not so soon in my career. But absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It is a driving force in my life to make a name for myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that should be anybody's driving force, is to have their own identity.
Mm-hmm.
And being that we share a name, it makes it doubly hard.
Mm-hmm.
And my father being who my father is, if anybody knows who my father is, they know that those are big shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a challenge I'm willing to accept, and I'm up for it. You know, I never want to be just the son of or the brother of. Michael Jordan has children, but we know them as the children of Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to be that.
Man, my goodness. I take full heed to that.
Yeah.
Making a name for yourself. Because I feel like, definitely we should all try to do that.
Yeah.
Because we're all unique. We're not all the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you are this person's child, you're not that person.
Yeah.
So you should always try to, make your own path.
Yeah.
So that takes me... What were you about to say?
Well, I was just going to say that that's honestly why I struggle so much, because if few people know this, but I actually accepted my call in the ministry a few months back, like almost over a year ago now.
Okay.
And no, actually it was a year ago now. I accepted it in February, and I just preached my first sermon last July.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I struggled with it so badly was because he was a minister. And that's what everybody said I was going to do, because he did it. I didn't look at it as that's what they saw in me.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it as, y'all just want me to do that because that's what my daddy does. I don't want to do nothing my dad does. I'm going to be a musician. I didn't look at it as you can do both. In my mind at the time, it wasn't possible to do both or feasible. You got to do one or the other. Like, you got to give both of those a lot.
Right.
I've grown into the perspective of, no, you can do both.
Right.
Like, literally everybody in gospel music does both. Kirk
Minister,
Franklin preaches, Donnie McClurkin preaches.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Mary, one of them is a minister, if not both. Erica's a minister, right?
She's a pastor.
Oh, okay. Well, they're all in ministry.
Yeah.
So that was for me, that was my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was why accepting my call was so difficult. Other than the usual reasons as to why people don't want to accept their calling, but that was one of the biggest things. Like, y'all only want me to do that because my dad does that. That's the main reason I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fall under that. Because I'm already a singer, right? And so that's already a stereotype in and of itself. All preachers' kids sing.
Yes.
Now all preachers' sons preach is another one. It's like, yo, I want to make my own path.
Yes.
But I couldn't. Obviously, you can't fight that. You can't fight what God has for you. So eventually, I gave in to that. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So has music always been a part of that path? You know?
No, actually, it has not.
Really?
No. Few people know this, but I didn't start singing until I was about 12.
Oh.
I knew I could sing, but no one else did. And what'll really shock you is that I had extreme stage fright up until about that age and a little bit on. I would not sing in front of anybody. Only people who knew I could sing up until that point were my two sisters who I had at the time. I have 6 brothers and sisters now, but I had 2 sisters at the time, and they were the only 2 who knew I could sing. And they helped me kind of come out of that. But I was an artist first. I started drawing when I was about 4 years old.
Wow.
I was drawing before I could write. And so I was taking, every year I was taking art lessons. I was taking art classes at school instead of how most students who are in music now, been in music their whole life, have musical background, musical training, vocal training, theoretical training. I had none of that coming into Visible. All I had was, I sang on the praise team half my life. But no, it was actually visual arts first.
Okay.
I was studying that at the University of Memphis before I transferred here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. So I have another question. I have tons of questions, but like this is just one that's like really, been on my mind. Where did Vino come from? Like, was that a childhood nickname, or was that something that you chose to be your stage name, or how did that come into play, man?
I'm glad you asked that question. Well, you're a good interviewer. So funny story. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was in the 12th, when I graduated from high school, actually. When I graduated from, I told you so. I just gave you my background. I came from a preacher's family. We all know preachers' kids have extremely unrealistic expectations on them, and I had strict parents as well. And so we know how daunting that can be. So coming from that situation, we tend to rebel. Graduating high school, I had rebelled to the point where it got me kicked out of the house. Now, fortunately, in this situation, I had somewhere else I could go because my parents were divorced. So I went to my mother's house in between graduating high school and beginning my first year at college at University of Memphis. During this time at my mother's house, I was laying in the bed one night and I was just having this conversation with myself, and I was thinking about everything that I had missed out on growing up, coming up in this environment, all the things that I didn't get to do, all of the freedoms, quote unquote, that I did not experience, and the fun that I missed out on. And I decided in my bed in that moment at like midnight that I was about to make up for all this time that I missed out on. And I was also in a very unhealthy place. Me and my father weren't on speaking terms, and I was resentful. So this was almost like it was a prodigal son moment before the return.
Wow.
So I'm laying in the bed that night, but this is how funny conviction works. I'm laying in the bed and I'm making this decision, but as I make this decision, I'm feeling guilty about the decision as I'm making it. But I've already decided in my mind that I'm going this route, and there's nothing anybody's going to be able to do to stop me. Wow. So in order to be able to cope with the decision that I'm about to make, I developed this sort of an alter ego where I'm going to change my entire identity. I'm going to change my name so much so that when I go here, nobody's going to know who I am. where I come from. They're not gonna know my background. That way nobody can hold me accountable for where I come from. That way I don't have to feel the conviction of the decisions that I'm about to make.
Wow, man.
So I took my name, Devin, and a nickname that my first cousin gave me. We grew up, she used to call me affectionately Devlino. So I took the D-E out and the L out. I dropped those and just made Vino.
Wow.
Vino was this person that was not who Devin is. But Devin was who, was convicted and came from church and was, all of those things.
Right.
Vino was an alter ego I created so that I could be able to do those things. Vino, over time, evolved. If people know me now, people who know me know that I look up to nobody other than my fathers. I have two fathers. Other than my fathers, I look up to nobody more than I look up to Kobe Bryant. And while I was there, I had a friend who showed me a shoe that Kobe had just dropped. He was like, "Yo, Vino, your boy dropped a shoe called the Vinos."
Oh.
I had no idea Kobe's nickname was Vino as well. So it drew me to look up the definition of the word, because I know Kobe has a background in Italian because he grew up in Italy. So seeing that, it made me go and it made me do the research, and I went and discovered that Vino was Italian for wine. Now, the poetry in that is that Kobe was known as a player who seemed to get better the older he got.
Oh, yeah.
Just as wine gets better with time. So he called himself Vino because that's how he identified himself. When I realized that, I took that definition on kind of in honor of him, but also as a mantra for myself. That from this point on, my evolution became, from this point on, every day I'm going to dedicate that day to trying to be a little bit better than I was the day before.
My goodness. So, when did Vino and Devin, kind of, I guess, come together in a sense?
I couldn't decide who I wanted to be. I couldn't choose because I loved both. The meaning of my actual name, Devin, it has so much potency behind it as well. My name is Irish for poet, and as a writer, I write music, I write poetry, I write raps. I'm a writer.
That's evident.
So, there's power in the name. There's power in the name. You can look through Scripture, all through Scripture, and see that everyone named their children something with intention because they knew that this was going to mean something.
Right.
Even Emmanuel means God with us. Like, that's a name that the angel told Mary to name her son. Name him Emmanuel, because this is going to be God with us. It meant something. And so for me, it was important for me to kind of keep both of those principles, both of those philosophies in my life. And because I wanted to live by those things, I wanted to be influenced by those things. My name meaning poet, literally, that comes with a creative, that comes with a bit of a creative innuendo. And then Vino, after what I just told you, those things are those really potent names when you think about it. And I didn't want to disassociate myself with either one, so I kept both. Kind of like Eminem has Slim Shady, or Kendrick Lamar has, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar has Kung Fu Kenny.
Yeah.
Jay-Z has Hov. I just have a nickname. I had a name that I wanted to go by, but I had a name that I also wanted people to see me by as well. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you being a man of faith, a believer of Christ, a minister, all these, different things, how do you balance that with being an artist in your music as well? How do you balance, being a man of Christ, a minister, being an artist?
It's not as hard as it seems. I'm not a pastor, so that load is not as heavy on me as it would be if I were. I don't have to write a sermon a week. I write a sermon when I'm asked to. I told you I preached my first sermon last July. I'm only preaching my third sermon this Sunday. And I've only recently preached one in between 2 weeks ago. So that gap between the first one and the second one was, 7-8 months? So that, the ministry in and of itself is my life. So they all coincide in some way or another. My artistry is tied into my life. My ministry is tied into the way that I live my life. My life is a ministry. And every other detail, every other aspect, they're all tied into how I go about my life. So that's how I balance it. As far as compartmentalizing things, from a practical standpoint, organization, scheduling, prioritizing, and like I said, sometimes sacrificing sleep.
Yeah, most definitely. Y'all, we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more of Devin Westbrook. In the meantime, take a listen to this song, Light It Up by Tyrion.
I must admit some of the things you do, they leave me confused. What am I to do? But who am I to even question you? God, I was such a fool. You've always brought me through. Send that fire like that match, put that spotlight on my path. If you don't, I just might crash. Honestly, it's hard to see it. 'Cause if you want it, I want it. And I ain't leaving you for nothing. When you come, I come running. Light it up, come shine that light. When you say it, I believe it. What you got is what I'm needing. Yeah, I follow when you need it. Light it up, come shine that light. 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 Light it up, light it up. All of my drama that I've held on to is keeping me from you. Help me trust in you. Send that fire like that match, put that spotlight on my path. If you don't, I just might crash. Honestly, it's hard to see it. 'Cause if you want it, I want it. And I ain't leaving you for nothing. When you come, I come running. Light it up, come shine that light. When you say it, I believe it. What you got is what I'm needing. Yeah, I follow when you need it. Light it up, come shine that light. 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 Light it up, light it up.
Light it up, won't you shine that light? Lord Jesus, will shine that light. We want you to shine that light. Light it up, light it up.
Falling, reaching for my calling. I need saving, I need something. Craving, I'm all in. Jesus, heal us, keep us, free us. I need Jesus, only Jesus. Light it up, come shine that light. 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 Light it up, light it up. 'Cause if you want it, I want it. And I ain't leaving you for nothing. When you come, I come running. Light it up, come shine that light. When you say it, I believe it. What you got is what I'm needing. Yeah, I follow when you need it. Light it up, come shine that light. 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 Light it up, light it up. Light it up, come shine that light. Light it up, come shine that light. Light it up, come shine that light. Light it up, light it up.
Light it up, come shine that light. Light it up, come shine that light. Light it up, come shine that light. Light it up, light it up. Light it up, come shine that light.
Light it up!
Light it up, come shine that
Light it up, light it up!
Light it up, come shine that
Wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. Yes! That was Light It Up by Tyrion. Okay, so y'all, if y'all like that one, y'all are really gonna like this one. This is One-Sided Love by David Apple.
It's your job to stand the wind, and it's my job to raise the sails. But the wind, it blows even if I fail. You still put breath in my lungs and let the sun shine on my head. You remember who I am when I forget. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love. You move mountains out of my way, but I still can't find the time to pray. 'Cause I'm running and I'm tired and I'm in pain. But the same God who bled for me is the same God who waits patiently for his child to find his way back home. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love. I'm sorry for the nails in your hands, 'cause that was me. I'm sorry for the thorns on your head, 'cause that was me. I'm sorry for the cross that you bore, 'cause that was me. And that was me. I'm sorry that it took me this long to see. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved by one-sided love. I am loved. I am loved by one-sided love. I am loved. I am loved by a one-sided love.
Y'all, that song really touched my heart. It has such a beautiful message. It has such great vibes. Oh my goodness, it is absolutely wonderful. Jesus died for us so that we may have life more abundantly. Okay? But y'all, we're going to get back into this interview with Devin Westbrook. Stay tuned.
The music just feels so good. You're on the number one.
Welcome back, y'all. Thank y'all for staying with us. We're here with Devin Westbrook. So, Devin, you're a student at Visible Music College. What does it look like for you?
So I'm in my third year.
Okay.
What does it look like? It's busy. Is what it looks like. I'm taking a lot of credits this semester, 17 and a half. Trying to juggle that with being SGA president and all of the responsibilities that come with that. Church obligations, being a leader on the praise team, and also having my music career, which is actually a part of my academics, because at Visible, you know, we have bands, and I'm a part of the individual bands class. I mean, the independent bands class, which is basically
You form your own band.
basically you just work on your music career
Okay.
as a class. So, like, that's literally something it's literally a part of school and something I have to do
Okay.
to pass the class.
Okay.
As well as still, you know, having the little bills that I have, you know, like car insurance and phone bills, you know, college bills.
Yes.
But I still gotta, those things are real for me, and are just as, you know, daunting, and it's a task for me as well. So that all those play in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a worship leadership major,
Correct.
right? So what does that look like inside and outside of the school? How does that, play a role?
Inside of the school, the degree causes for a lot of research, because it's a lot more thought and faith-based and lifestyle-based than it is music, as opposed to like a vocal degree would be. We do a lot of papers.
I've heard.
That's pretty much what it is. It's papers, and you discuss what you learn. But he asks specific questions, and he has you, Dr. Johnson has you write about specific things that are meant to help you as a worship leader.
Right.
And then outside of that, obviously, you're just required to be a part of a worship ministry. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what are some events that you were involved in at Visible?
So a few years back, I got the opportunity to open for Sanctus Real in Memphis Is Me, and I've done it the past 2 years now. So that's been an extremely fun and exciting opportunity that I'm really grateful to have. Something I always wanted to be a part of since coming here. And I've also gotten to participate for the past 3 years in the Visible Christmas Tour.
Come on now.
Something I'm always excited to be a part of. Those are the two biggest things since being at Visible that I can think of that I've been a part of.
Yeah. Y'all, he's in everything, literally. He's in everything here at Visible.
I'm trying to make it, man.
He's getting himself out there.
I'm trying to take it.
But one event that he didn't mention was Keno. So tell us, what is Keno?
So Keno was a brainchild of Christina, Christina and I. You know Christina.
Yes.
We were just hanging out, and we were just playing our music for each other. Christina Kaufman.
Yes.
We were playing our music for each other, and just hanging out in each other's rooms, and we just had the random idea to, we should put on an event where, cause like people should hear this stuff, like all this stuff that we're doing. We should put on an event where we play all our music for each other, just in a live, especially with COVID being a thing. A lot of us don't get the opportunity to gig like we used to, but all of us want to gig.
Yeah.
So we decided to take inspiration from NPR Tiny Desk and put our own spin on it, and that's what we did, man. We had an idea and we executed it. And I'm extremely proud of the turnout. We had our first show 2 weeks ago, and we're probably gonna have the next one at the top of next semester. Probably following Memphis is Me, because that's probably the biggest focus for the opening semester, for the opening of the year every year. So I don't want to take away from that.
Yes, indeed.
So we're probably planning for the next one to be sometime after that.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I was excited about that. Keynote, for those of you who don't know, is a play on words. The title. It's a musical event that highlights or spotlights up-and-coming artists who have original music. And in order to participate in it, you have to have music already online, already streaming on a platform. It's a way to get people motivated to put stuff out, as well as a way to create exposure for ourselves, and to give us performance reps, which we all need.
Right.
Amongst other things, to give Visible Music College more notoriety and exposure. The benefits of it are almost endless, but those were the initial focuses. And it, like I said, it's a play on words. Keynote. Those are musical terms.
Yeah.
And so keynote is another word for spotlight. And so I wanted to spotlight musicians.
Right.
Hence keynote.
Right. Smart. So, is the public going to see the awesome performances that took place at Keynote?
Yes, sir. It was pre-recorded, and we are having it edited as we speak.
Okay.
And it will be posted. We're creating a YouTube page.
Okay.
We're looking to also create other social media platforms for it. It will be uploaded very soon.
Okay. That's awesome. So Devin was one of the Keynote featured artists, and it was there where many of us got the honor and privilege to listen to his newly released song, Blue Moon, which was later released on his birthday.
Yes, sir.
His birthday. Devin had a birthday Tuesday, April 6th.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? So happy birthday to you, sir.
Appreciate it.
So how did you celebrate, before we get to Blue Moon? How did you celebrate?
By releasing Blue Moon. That was my birthday gift to myself.
Oh my goodness.
That was my birthday gift. That's all I wanted, man. I wanted to release my song on my birthday, and leverage my birthday. If we being honest, I wanted to leverage my birthday. I knew I was going to get a lot of attention on my birthday, and it was the opportunity to have everybody who are, instead of going and fishing for people, everybody is fishing for you that day. So, as an entrepreneur, what better day to leverage than your birthday?
Right.
So, that was the goal. That was how I celebrated. Me and my girlfriend went out to a small dinner because I still had homework that night. So we went and got a little small something. But we're also, my best friend he's gonna take me out to eat. We're gonna go get a movie. We're gonna watch a movie today, and we're gonna go to a concert. Me and my girlfriend gonna go to a concert. We're gonna go see Mono Neon and Ghost Note this Saturday. So yeah, man. And we went to a Grizzlies game last week.
Come on, then. They just showering you down with it. Come on.
So
come on.
Just doing all the things I love to do.
Okay. So let's talk about it. Blue Moon. What is the meaning behind it? Behind the song? Does it have a deep meaning? What is what is it here?
So I'm always iffy about giving my interpretation of my music. As an artist, you always want to allow people to interpret things for themselves, so that they can identify with and relate to the song in the way that they need to relate to it.
Right.
The biggest what I can tell you is that the song is basically about Christ. It's me expressing my appreciation for him. I believe that we as Christians are salesmen for Christ. And Scripture tells us that he told the disciples that, I know that you're fishermen, but I will make you fishers of men. I think the modern day fisherman is the salesman. So what I'm trying to do through my music is promote God, represent Jesus. And that's really the message, honestly. Blue Moon is a metaphor. if you know what a blue moon is, blue moons are pretty much sort of anomalies. We don't see blue moons very often. It's something that comes very seldom. It's a very unique thing to see a blue moon.
Right.
And Christ, in the same manner, he's one of a kind. And so when he came in an extremely unique manner. And if you go and look at the cover art, you'll see a little bit more. But I won't give you too much.
Yes.
But that's pretty much the idea, is that what he did when he came, the chorus says, "Love don't look like this through my iris. Men like you come once in a blue moon." It's talking about the sacrifice. It's talking about the heart behind why he came and what he did when he came. So it's taking the nativity and the crucifixion and everything in between, and it's expressing my appreciation for it.
My goodness, man, that is awesome. I really thought that it was a love song to a girl, talking about when you said there's no love like this. So I thought you was talking about yourself, talking about there's no man like me. I was like, so he's talking about himself to this girl.
My God.
I guess he's trying to sell himself to the girl or whatever. So I thought it was, because it has kind of like an R&B vibe. You know? So I was like, so this is like a love song. I was like, okay. But,
that's the approach.
So
I feel like gospel music, and it is a gospel song. When I say men like you, I'm literally talking about Jesus. It is a love song that I wrote to Jesus.
To Jesus, yeah.
And that's my approach. I feel like gospel music needs to take a turn.
Yeah.
It needs something fresh. Because when you turn on 95.7 right now, which is the Memphis gospel station, for those of you who might not be, well, this is a Memphis station, so for those of you who listen to 95.7, when you turn it on, it's playing music from 50 years ago still. And I can't relate to it. And I don't want to listen to it. I'm being honest with you. When 95.7 comes on, I turn it off. And the alternative is something like 97.1, 107.5, 103.1, old school R&B, or hip hop. Those are the things that our generation is listening to. Those are the things that I came up on. And so not only am I trying to be like Paul and present myself in a manner that you can be comfortable with on your level and from your perspective, but this is where I come from myself. Like, I enjoy this type of music myself. I love hip hop. I love soul music. I'm from the home of soul. I'm from the home of blues and rock and roll. So I love these styles and these genres myself. And so you'll hear that in my music. You won't hear 50-year-old sounding music. A whole bunch of, I love church, but you won't hear a whole bunch of growling and stuff from me. You're gonna hear me rapping. You're gonna hear me singing. You're gonna hear me doing some poetry, stuff like that, man. Like, we need some fresh stuff. We need to be able to, especially for the new Christians who are trying their best to transition over into this dimension, but don't have anything that they can trade their old music for.
Yes.
I want to give them an alternative.
Right.
So that they don't feel like they're having to, it's hard to eat vegetables, man, when you're so used to eating junk food.
Yes.
So at least you can put a little cheese on it.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to write Blue Moon?
Not long. Not long. Maybe 30 minutes.
Okay.
The longest process was creating the music. Playing and trying to come up with the right chords and the right riffs, and then also the mixing of it, trying to find the right the intricacies of producing.
Yes.
That stuff probably took the longest.
I see. So what was your inspiration for this song? What inspired you to want to write this song? Did you just wake up one day and just, I'm gonna write a song called Blue Moon today and see how this goes?
I did say that I wanted to write a song called Blue Moon, but I came to that conclusion. Have you ever seen Grease?
Yes.
You remember that scene at the dance where the band from National Bandstand they sing the song Blue Moon, doom, doom, the Frank Sinatra song.
Uh-huh.
That song, I watched Grease growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a childhood movie of mine. My family, we watched Grease a million times. And because of that, Blue Moon is one of those songs that has always been in my head.
Okay.
To this day. I go around, you might catch me just Blue Moon, doom, 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 doom. You know what I mean? Just randomly.
Uh-huh.
And it took me years to finally like sit down and think, what does Blue Moon even mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what led me to writing, to actually coming up with the title for my EP.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I looked up the definition of it, found a one-to-one analogy that I could use for Jesus, and decided I wanted to write a song about Jesus where I used Blue Moon as a metaphor.
Wow.
Well, I wanted to name my EP that, and decided, okay, now I need a title track.
Right.
And about a week later, I had a song.
Wow, man, that is awesome. So, what are some of your influencers? You know, for your music. You know, we know you're a very musical person, and you have a sound like no other. But you know, who are some of the people that you like to listen to, or you feel have impacted the way you sing, or the music that you put out?
Growing up, obviously Michael Jackson was my number one.
Okay, all right.
Michael Jackson is my earliest memory of music. I can remember being woken up out of my sleep by my dad when I was 5 years old to come watch Thriller in the middle of the night on TV. It came on like MTV or VH1.
Okay. And
he was like, "Come downstairs, come see this." And we came downstairs and I saw Michael Jackson Thriller. That was my first experience with Michael Jackson, which was Thriller.
My goodness.
And I watched that, but I couldn't go back to sleep I couldn't go back to sleep that night.
You were scared?
No, okay. I was like so inspired. Like I was in love with Michael Jackson at that time, and I was so amazed by what I just saw. I couldn't go to sleep.
Okay.
As I got older, the person who became for me my biggest inspiration was Andre 3000.
Okay.
Outkast is my favorite rap group of all time.
Okay.
And I think Andre 3000 is, for me, what James Brown was to Michael Jackson. I want to be like him, but from a Christian standpoint.
Okay.
But as an artist. Yeah.
Well, you guys, we have to take another break, but don't y'all touch that knob, because y'all getting ready to hear Calling Your Name from Devin Westbrook and his newly released song, Blue Moon. Stay here.
My eyes, they look to the hills. Oh, my mind, it will never fail. All my help comes from you alone. You're the one who sits on the throne. You are my healing. You are my joy. There's no one greater than you, Lord. You are my shelter in the midst of my storm. When I am cold and down, you keep me warm. Like the stars in the sky, like the sun shining bright, like calling you. From this time moving forward, you will shine like a torch. You are light and so much more in my eyes. From this time moving forward, you will shine like a torch. You will light so much more in my eyes. From this time moving forward, you will shine like a torch. You will light so much more in my eyes. Healer, provider, protector, savior, Jesus, healer, provider, protector, savior, He's my healer, my provider. He's my savior. Love don't look like this through my iris. Been like you come once in a blue moon. Yeah, blue moon. I can't fight it, I'm so excited. Been like you come once in a blue how the sky sent down for me, love like a melody, and I want you, yeah. need ya. You live to die innocently, like a lamb or a sheep. I got you, so I'll keep ya. But in your love I still believe, and I want you, and I need you. You're on my mind, right next to me, in my soul, in my dreams, and I got you, and I'll keep you. Nothing like this, one of a kind. Christ is the uncreated, more than meta salvation from all crisis. So why crisis? Wipe those teary eyes as I recite this soulful expose of the same scintillating name that contains life and remains righteous. This ain't ISIS, see, what a sight to behold. You can't hype his ego, cause he knows what it's like to keep hold of the impossible with green groves in each hand like a fight scene with She-Go. He sold his life and bought mine with it, like he had a coupon for a 2-for-1 special. Good for a couple fried chickens fresh after coupon Sunday. Help is on the way, better yet, help has already arrived. So why don't you just help yourself and put both hands together like adhesive and thank God for your health itself. If hell was kept from you, you ought to tell the next one who you come into contact with. Just run through your blessings. The lesson in the old message said to count them up like seconds. God bless you. Been like you come once in a blue moon. I can't fight it, I'm so excited. Been like you come once in a blue moon. How the sky sent down for me, love like a melody.
Hit music belongs here on your number one station.
Thank y'all for being loyal listeners and keeping it at 100.3. I hope y'all enjoyed Blue Moon and Calling Your Name. We're here with Devin Westbrook. So, Devin.
Yeah.
What are your future plans? You know, from now and beyond. What are your future plans, man?
I just wanna be a success, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it's like for us.
Yes.
You know what it's like for us, and so I just want to be a success, and I want to be able to provide for my family. And as cliche as it's beginning to sound, create generational wealth for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to not maximize my potential and end up working in an environment that I was not created to work in.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that God has something for me, and I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get into, endeavors that I want to experience and that I want to go after and execute, but all of those are under the umbrella of being a success, man. I want to be able to provide for my family doing what I love to do, which is create.
Yeah, man. So how far are you from graduating?
A year.
So next spring you'll be coming out.
Yeah.
My goodness, man. Wow. I hate to see you go. Man. I really do, because
we can't all stay in one place.
You've made such an impact on this school, and have paved the way, in a sense, for a lot of us African American students.
Wow.
And so a lot of us, we look up to you because we see the work that you're doing and the things that they're allowing you to do because of who you are, and it's allowing us to kind of come in behind you and do things as well. So, man, just awesome, very impactful.
Man, that's humbling, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's humbling. I thank you, bro.
Of course. So, where do you think you'll be right after graduation? Like, what are you expecting? What plans are you planning on putting in place? Once you get out of this place?
So, again, I told you, Kobe Bryant is one of my favorite people of all time.
Mm-hmm.
A lesson I learned from him was to never wait until the transition to plan for your next move. By that point, you're already late.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm planning for my next moves now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set up. I mean, honestly, eventually, the goal is to already be a realized recording artist by the time I graduate. But I obviously have no control over when that actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I've also got, something that's in the works that I cannot quite say yet because it's not a guarantee,
right.
But it's in the works, and it's something that I think will be able to hold me over, and just keep the bills paid.
Okay.
While I'm chasing this dream, man. Yeah. So I've got something in the works, but like I said, it's not concrete yet.
Okay.
So.
Well, man, that is awesome. I'm so happy for you and extremely proud of all that you've accomplished so far. You have so much success ahead of you, I believe.
Thank you.
Myself and so many others are so excited to see what happens next with the Devin Westbrook. So when can we expect more music from you?
Very soon. The only reason I dropped that single was because I'm working on my EP.
Okay.
So
you just feeding us a little something.
Well, absolutely. Of course.
Oh, goodness.
Of course. So yeah, very soon.
Okay.
Due date to be determined. Release date to be determined. But very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. All of the songs are written. All of the demos are complete. Some of them are mixed. Some of them need to be mastered. The whole process.
Yeah.
We're going through the process, but very soon.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all, that is our time. But I have one last question for you. What would you say to the person who loves music, but is hesitant about putting themselves out there? They want to become an artist. They want to, kind of like do some of the things you're doing, as far as artistry and putting down music and writing. But they're just kind of afraid to just put themselves out there. What would you say to that person?
A life lived in fear is a life not lived.
Mm.
Just got to do it.
Wow.
Experience comes, or wisdom comes through experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to go for it, and do everything in God's timing. I have loads of music that I have yet to release because God hasn't released me. He hasn't released me to release them yet. Everything in God's timing. Be prayerful. Spend time with Him and move when He tells you to move. I just feel that, now is that time. God is releasing me to, but slowly, but releasing me to do certain things. You just gotta move in God's timing and be bold in your movements. So you can't allow fear. It's okay to be fearful. Being fearless is not. There's nothing commendable about being fearless. Being courageous is commendable. It's having the resolve and the tenacity to push through that fear that defines a person.
Right.
Fearlessness takes no effort. Courage does. Be courageous.
Yeah. That's what God told us to do. He did not
Joshua.
give us
Book of Joshua.
Yes. He didn't give us a spirit of fear either.
Right.
Love, power, and a sound mind.
Right.
But man, that's some great advice. Look, bro, it was amazing having you here with us. But before you go, do you want to tell them where they can find your music?
Absolutely.
And also your social media stuff?
Yes. Obviously, iTunes. Yes, iTunes, but Apple Music, Spotify. Working on getting it on Amazon Music and Google Play. Also on SoundCloud. I'm on SoundCloud as well.
Ooh, Amazon.
I do have Calling Your Name on Amazon.
Hey, Blue Moon is on Amazon.
Oh, so I uploaded it. I didn't get the notification that it was uploaded.
I played it on Amazon, yeah.
Well, okay, great. Yeah. Great to know. You're on Amazon Music. So all of those, and I have the link in if you're looking for the link, it is in my Instagram bio, as well as my Facebook bio. My Instagram page is Devin Westbrook _Vino. That's Vino. My Facebook is Devin Vino Westbrook. Those are the two social medias that I have.
Well, you heard it here at 100.3 WVZM Visible Radio. I am your host for the hour, B.Will, signing off. Peace, y'all.